Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, really great to be here today. Obviously, we've re-kicked off stage 3 restrictions in Melbourne and we've entered isolation. So we thought there's no better time than now to reach out and interview one of the long-standing members at VBRA Knox and someone who is currently not in lockdown because he's living in Bairnsdale. So I think a lot of people will know Steve Piatek. Steve, thanks very much for joining us.
No worries, thank you.
So Stevie, what we'll do, mate, is I've got a couple of questions for you, and then once we've finished with some questions, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to do a bit of a pop quiz.
Okay.
So, mate, what I thought I'd start off with, can you just tell us a little bit about when did you start refereeing at VBRA Knox, and I guess at that particular point in time, what was your motivation and the reason you started refereeing?
I started in 1993 in the March school. I lived in a little street in Scoresby, and a few of the other kids in the street were already reffing, and I was playing sort of under 14s, under 16s. I think I just went up at that stage, and a couple of the guys in my team were reffing as well. So we decided, me, a couple of neighbours who weren't reffing, and my brother Carl started reffing together. Went through the ref school just to earn a little bit of cash and to have a bit of fun reffing, and already knew a couple of the refs, so we were good friends. So just hang out around the stadium.
Lovely. So you've been a referee now at Knox for 27 years.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about what, I guess, refereeing at Knox was like when you started? And I think, obviously, we've seen some advancements in the time that you've been here. So can you touch on a couple of things like, how did you used to get your roster? And how did you know what games you were refereeing, I guess, when you started out?
I'll start with the example of Saturdays. The roster was written up, and there was, I don't know how many refs we had at that stage, actually 93. But everyone had their own number assigned to them, and you'd look up your name, your number, and every court had the 3 refs on it, and you had your games that you were reffing written on the piece of paper, and you'd look at your number, and I think I was number 57 or something to start with, and 57, I'd look and I'd be at Bronia Heights, or I'd be at Wanturna or Knox, and you'd look at what games you had. You'd see you had a 14C girls game, and you'd see who you were reffing it with on the piece of paper that was hung up on the wall in the window at the canteen at the stadium. Bev was the supervisor then, and it would have been hard work trying to get all that done manually with paper, because as you know, doing it with computers now, if you double book someone at the same time or 2 different places, that notifies you saying, you've doubled up on that person. Then it would have been a lot harder. You would have had to manually check everything by vision. And if you couldn't ref or whatever, you'd have to ring Bev on the number before Thursday night, I think it was, from memory. And you'd make sure that you let Bev know with plenty of time, because she had her hands full. So, and if she didn't, she'd leave you off the roster for a couple of weeks, which is fair enough too.
I'm sure you experienced that a couple of times over the years, Stephen.
No, I was usually pretty good with letting people know. It was only I think there was only once I pulled out at the last minute. It was a real medical emergency. Can't remember what actually happened, but and she understood. I think it might have actually been when I got really sick with pneumonia, and it was you that was supervising, and I got pretty sick and had to pull out, and missed probably about 6 weeks anyway. So,
right. So can you tell us a little bit, from the point where you started and back when you used to check the roster on the board, the front of the stadium, as opposed to, I guess, how we communicate today? More broadly, can you tell us what are the major differences that you've seen between the time when you started and, I guess, 2020?
A lot of the changes come from the support that we get from committee supervisors, senior referees themselves. Back when I was going through C to B to A to go through the leagues, there was a handful of referees that were sort of at that elite level or higher level. You know, Mark Quinn, Dave Anderson, Chris Reid, Wendy Barnett, Steve Williams. Sorry if I've left anyone out, but they were going through the ranks themselves without a great deal of guidance from home. So they were sort of very busy pushing forward for themselves. So we sort of and got help from them on the weeknights or the Sunday night that they were reffing. But the general support now is that the supervisors all have experience on the elite panels. You know, there's always a couple of refs doing the men's one or A grade games or the women's one games that have a good breadth of experience. So now we're getting a lot of mentoring and coaching through the ranks, and you're more prepared for when you actually do get your first year of junior panel. Whereas when we went through, it was a bit of an eye opener, being from Knox and getting onto the panels, and you used to turn up to a venue and go, "Oh, you're from Knox. that's you're not going to last around here very long." And to now go to the same venues, and the younger guys who are around now would see it. They get the amount of respect that Knox refs deserve. We're not the little brothers or the little cousins of your Danny Nongs, Nuttawaddings and Kilsytes that we used to be. We're on equal terms, if not better.
Yeah, good. And so, Steve, what would you say has been your best memory at VBRA Knox?
Too many. Just everything from going to do the championship finals on a Friday night, finals when I was doing Big B VBL, and also just seeing the success of all the other guys like yourself and Brad when you went through and Ian Knight when you were going through and getting good games, good finals through Siebel. And yeah, just seeing other people's success has been a good memory for me as well. And just the laughs and some of the good times that have been had around the ref room throughout the years with various people. You know, having Sue Wilkinson as a supervisor and getting out on the court with her on Tuesday mornings was always good fun. And yeah, just some of those sorts of memories where you meet new people and have a good laugh.
Lovely. Well, Steve, really great to reflect on, I guess, pretty stellar on-court and off-court career to date. Obviously, you know, going back 27 years, there's not too many people who've stood the test of time like you have. And so what we're going to do next, mate, is we're going to take you through a pop quiz. Okay. I'm going to give you a series of 20 questions. We've got 90 seconds in which you're going to answer these questions. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell me the very first person or the very first thing that comes to mind once I've asked you this question, all right?
Okay.
All right, Steve. Your time starts now. Favourite court to referee on?
Knox court 1 before they took the side stands down between 1 and 2.
Fox 40 Classic or a Mini?
Classic.
Best referee who never made it?
Sean Gobby.
Most respected referee coach?
Don Purdy.
Knox or Sherbrooke?
Knox.
Favourite thing to purchase from the Bronya canteen?
Dr. Pepper.
Toughest game you've ever refereed?
Selby versus Baronia, under 21s or under 20s final. Can't remember if it was 21s or 20s at that stage.
Wendy Barnett or Chris Reid?
Both. 3-man.
Best partner?
Sue Wilkinson.
Greatest rule knowledge?
Daniel Batty.
Shorts or slacks?
Slacks.
Pre-game ritual?
Dr. Pepper.
Piatek or Piatek?
Piatek.
Over officious?
Perhaps.
Who, sorry?
Myself, probably, sometimes.
Sean Gobby or Steve Kavanagh?
Steve Kavanagh.
Worst player to ever become a referee?
Daniel William John Batty.
Best communicator? Moulton or Spalding?
Spalding.
Best doorkeeper?
All of them.
Best player you've ever refereed?
Tom Greer.
Best advisor you've ever had?
Anthony Osbrook and Neil Black.
Lovely.
And Keith.
Lovely. Steve, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. I hope you enjoy the next 6 weeks whilst we're all locked up and you're free to do whatever you like in regional Victoria. Thanks very much. And I look forward to catching up with you when you're next down to do some games on court at Boronia Stadium, court number 1, your favourite court. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, no, see you in about 2023. It'll be 30-year anniversary by then, I think. So I look forward to getting back to it and stay safe, everyone.
Lovely. See you then, Steve.
No worries. See ya.